Hello, everyone. Welcome to Raw, Hard, and Real. I'm here today with a very special guest, Spitnoise. How are you today?
I'm doing great. And you?
I'm pretty good. By the way, thank you very much for accepting this. I would first like to start, since we're about to end like this year, I would like to know how was this year for you? Like, I don't know which was your favorite event, what are like the highlights of it?
Oh, that's difficult. I've got a lot of highlights this year. I did my album, of course. It was released the end of October, so it was a real big project. I did the Spotlight, the Defqon 1, Backstage, hosting the Intense Dynamite stage together with Party Racers. So yeah, a lot of highlights. Also my live act at Dominate the main stage, Harmony Falco main stage. So yeah, it was a good year in that way.
Would you say that it has been your best year so far?
Probably yes, yes, yeah. I think it was my best year, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so now I want you to tell me a little bit more about your story. Like, what drew you to hardcore, to uptempo? Like, when did you started producing? What drove you to this path in your life?
I think I started listening to hardcore when I was like 14, 15 years old. At that point, I visited smaller club parties nearby where I live. And it started with hardstyle and millennium hardcore at that moment. And the first big party was Massive Hardcore in Belgium. And when I came in, I saw the massive stage and the big production, and I thought I want to play there, I want to be there. And a few years later, there was a friend of mine who had a little DJ recording set, and sometimes when he wasn't recording stuff, I went to do it, and yeah, then the passion for mixing and hardcore was born. And a few years later, a few months later, I bought myself a DJ set and recorded a few mixtapes. And my friends were talking like, you have to upload them on YouTube or SoundCloud. And that's what I did. And after a few weeks, there was like one mixtape already 200,000 plays on YouTube. And I got invited by some small promoters to play there. So yeah, that's the Spitnoise story, how it began.
Okay, so in what year you started producing?
I think I started 1 year after my first gig, so in 2015.
Okay,
My first gig
yeah,
was
because I saw that.
2014. Yeah, my first
Yeah,
gig was in
because
2014, and normally it's like the other way. You start producing, making music, and then get your gigs. But yeah, at my story, it was the opposite. It was first DJing and playing at events, and then the music came in. Yeah.
yeah, it actually varies because I have talked with a lot of artists who actually have started DJing. I mean, it also depends on the age because I think that nowadays, like younger artists start producing and
Mm-hmm.
then they just become DJs. But I think
Yeah.
that I don't know, maybe like around people around mid 30s or around 30s or more, probably some of them actually started DJing. I think that the producing thing became more popular like in the recent, I don't know, maybe 10 or 15 years.
Yeah, probably. I think when I check new artists at this point, when from the moment when I started, I'm the last one who really came in with the DJing, and nowadays it's more, especially the last few years after the Corona, it's always like when you do a hit, when you do, then you get the bookings, and then yeah, you start playing. Yeah, it's more like that way. Yeah. But I understand it's like back in the days, also before, yeah, when I came on. I think it was the opposite. Like you start playing in smaller clubs, and then the music came in, and the producing part was at that point maybe a little bit smaller in the
Yeah.
whole act. Yeah.
Yeah, because actually I think that, well, this is probably like a real long time ago. Well, kind of. But for example, like 20 years ago, DJs and producers were like completely apart, you know? Like
Yes.
the DJ was just a DJ and the producer was just a producer. Like the two of them, these worlds started to collide like recently, I would say like about 20 years ago. But I think that these were like different professions. Nowadays, it has to be all in one. And I think that it's also because everything is getting easier, right? Like
Yeah.
even producing is easier, DJing is easier. So since everything is getting easier, I think that the public, the crowd, wants like more from the artists. What do you think about this?
What do you mean exactly with more from the artist, that they have to do like also the socials, the production, the
Exactly.
DJing,
Yeah, yeah.
whole act, the whole package. Yeah, I think it's when I started, it was for me. It became the most important thing to do my DJ sets, and then Facebook was coming up, so you did every week one post or something. But now with the social media and with the pressure to always have new music every week, to every day put a TikTok online, to do interviews, to do podcasts, to do everything. It's yeah, I think it's almost three full-time jobs in one. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so as well. Like everyone wants more and more and more from their artists. And how do you feel about, for example, the social media? Do you like it or not?
Yeah, I like it. I really like it. I also do it by myself, so I really like that I have it in my own hands, you know. But sometimes it's pretty hard. It's always you always have to be online after dinner. So in that time, the most people are online, and also at moments it's not really easy to combine it with my family life. But yeah, it's part of the job. So I really like it. And after a set at a big festival, it's always good to get response and get see the stories people upload with text for you. This it's yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah. And by the way, which artists have inspired you in your career?
I think Party Racer was the biggest inspiration for me. He was doing the first artist was doing Uptempo, and it wasn't called Uptempo at that point. It was more like the faster mainstream, the faster pitched and harder mainstream tracks. But yeah, I think that was my biggest inspiration to get in the Uptempo and get in the hardcore scene.
Okay. Because I see that on Spotify, you started uploading, or at least your first release, not your first song, I guess, because you told me you started on 2015, but your first release was on 2017, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And
that's
was
right.
it Uptempo? Did you started with Uptempo or you started with hardcore?
No, it was already up tempo, but at that point it wasn't like already called up tempo. It's more like the faster hardcore. I think the up tempo thing came 2017, 2018, the real up tempo hype. But at that point the up tempo was from 180 BPM to 190, sometimes 200. But yeah, nowadays it starts at 200 BPM. And the new up tempo scene is also going a little bit slower again, so it's like always in a wave. But at that point, it was already up tempo. Yeah, it started with up tempo.
Okay, yeah, I was actually going to ask you, like, what do you think about Uptempo nowadays, and what's the future of Uptempo from your perspective?
Well, I think it's really hard because up tempo scene is so big at this moment. So it's you also have like three or four sub genres in the up tempo already, like the Zaag, the slower Zaag up tempo, and the really fast up tempo, the bounce up tempo nowadays. So I think it's really hard to see what will be the future, but yeah, I don't know exactly what it will be. I think to speak for myself, I have to stick around with my own sound and to maybe get inspired by new artists. But yeah, to do what I love is the most important thing, and which direction it went, and I don't know already.
Okay, and what do you hope that it will happen with Uptempo? Like, yeah, what would you like to happen?
Yeah, I think at this point it's all, taking over the mainstream hardcore. If you see like the biggest main stages like Dominator, Massive Hardcore, the half of the evening it's already up tempo. So for me it's all. Of course, it's good to play at the big stages, but I hope it will. I hope it will stay like this in the future. Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, you told me that about the spotlight, that it was one of your favorite moments of the year on at
Yeah.
Defqon, which is sorry, was it like the biggest moment of the year or a Dominator?
Oh, that's pretty hard. I put a lot of effort in all the sets. Also, the Harmony Falco was a big highlight because it was the first time I mixed the Future Live act. Dominator was probably also one of the biggest highlights because it's the biggest crowd. And yeah, Dominator main stage, I think for hardcore artists is like the biggest thing in the game. And with Defqon Spotlight, we worked with the team like 2 or 3 months to put in all the elements and yeah, to make the best show of it. So yeah, it's different in all ways, but I think the biggest production was the Defqon Spotlight. Yeah.
Okay, and can you tell me a little bit more about it? Like, what does it mean as an artist to have that spot, like the last spot on the spotlight?
Yeah, of course, it felt amazing when I get the call. It was like if you check which other artists went before me, like Envitro, Angerfish, Dr. Peacock. To be in that list. It's really insane, and yeah, it was of course it was a big honor for me. Yeah.
Yeah, and how do you have to prepare? Like, what do you need to do special about that set?
I wanted that it was a 30-minute set, so it's always hard to put as much as energy and as much as new music into that 30 minutes. And I'm known by my sets to play also music from other artists. Like I don't always play music. I always support other artists. So that was really important for me to also do that, to not only make it a full Spitnoise set. Um, so yeah, we started with the team of Defqon and the team of the Black Stage, and I've got the stage designs before. So we checked what we can do. We saw the light plan, and then we started selecting tracks. Like this is gonna be the first intro track. I also had to build to make Defqon Spotlight's OST track, like a small anthem for the Black Stage. So we decided that will be the opening, and from that point we started to tell a little bit of story, with collecting some early elements in it, also like the new stuff, and that was a little bit of the journey from the Spotlights.
Wow, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, it was a big project.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It sounds like it. I mean, if you spent 2 or 3 months just getting it ready, it's a lot of work, but completely worth it.
Yeah, it was really worth it. Yeah.
And also, I saw you recently at Fabric. You were playing here. How do you like it? How many times have you been here in Spain?
In Spain, when I started DJing, I played a lot, but in Spain, but most time around Barcelona. So also the smaller clubs. And last year I played for the first time in Fabric. Yeah, it's totally different. It's really crazy. I love the crowd, and I never played at the main stage, unfortunately. But yeah, also the satellite stage is crazy. The crowd is really good. Even at 7 o'clock in the morning, it's still going strong. So yeah, I think in Spain or southern of Europe, it's the best crowd. It's it's really the best crowd. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure that soon you're gonna be at the main stage in Fabric. But it's
I hope.
amazing. I mean, and people actually love satellite. It's like I don't know if their favorite stage, but I have heard like I don't know. It's not like more cozy because it's smaller and it has great sound. So yeah,
Yeah, the sound is really good, and the whole club. It's more like, I think it's probably one of the biggest club in Europe I ever played before. Even if you compare it with Holland, for a real club, it's every weekend open. It's crazy. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I really love it. And by the way, what's your favorite festival? But I mean, like attending to one. Which one would you choose?
Yeah, I'm from the south of Holland, so my first big festival was Harmony of Hardcore, and I did the anthem a few years ago. And that year I also closed the main stage. So I think for me that's the most special one, because it's I was also my first big festival booking in 2014. It was my third booking, and already on the talent stage at Harmony of Hardcore. So for me, the vibe at Harmony of Hardcore is something else. So I think that's my favorite one.
Okay. And do you like to party after your gigs? Are you a party boy?
Yeah, I used to did it more often, but nowadays you have to go to another booking, and since I got two kids, it's difficult to stay longer, and yeah, then you're more like hangover the next day. So sometimes I choose some moments every year, like Defcon, we stay the whole weekend. Harmony of Hardcore, if it's possible, I will stay. But yeah, I really love it, and I really love the party and the crowd, of course. Yeah.
Perfect. And by the way, which festival do you think that has like the best or the most welcoming treatment to the artists?
I think Intense Festival is always really special with the artists. The artist lounge is always crazy. The food is perfect. A lot of drinks. So yeah, I think Intense, and also at Defcon is also crazy. Like if you're playing at one of the biggest stages at Defcon, you can stay the whole weekend for free, and you have got an artist village with the gym and the sauna and even a hairdresser and stuff like that. So it's also they're really cool to the artists. Yeah.
Wow. And who are your best friends from the scene?
Oh, that's really difficult. Yeah, I made a lot of friends. Some artists from the like Shaminators when I was started. We came up together. So I'm playing this Saturday again at the early Uptempo party from his side. So I'm really happy to be there. And that's one of the artists I known for already for 10 years. But also really good with Barber. Deadly Guns, Unproven. Yeah, we've got a really nice team. Also the new guys like Satirize, Noxious, Dope Doctor, Body Razor, of course. So I think it's yeah, most of the artists are good to each other. Yeah. And you see, most artists I see more often than my friends, almost every weekend, you know. So, especially when you're outside of Holland, you stay in the same hotel, go out for dinner. So yeah, it's you get bonded really fast. Yeah.
Okay. And which artists, new artists, do you think that are going to be like a big thing soon?
I think Noxious got a lot of potential. I really like his sound. He created a really special sound. It's not really bounce. It's yeah. It has everything in my opinion. That's why I also asked him to do the Armageddon remix. Satirize is also a really talented guy. Lekker Faces. I really love his sound. He also has his own sound. Tarkan, I really love his sound. It's real high production level. So yeah, I think that new guys are going really fast next year.
Perfect. And what do you request on your rider?
Always a few bottles of water, some beers, and one bottle of champagne.
Okay, you like beer?
Yeah, I really like beer.
Okay, perfect. I really like beer too. But I think it's the first time that someone tells me like beer because it's always like vodka, gin, or I don't know, whatever. And it's so I don't know, I got excited when you said beer.
Most times I drink beer, and I used to had like Grey Goose on the rider, but I never drink it. So sometimes when we get it, I got it like in the downstairs, like 15 bottles of vodka still close. So I decided to get that one off, and now I've got the champagne. So it's more like also to celebrate something, especially when you're playing at a smaller party and get the promoter in and do one glass or something. And it's really nice. It's always like it feels like party and celebration. So yeah, I love to do that.
Yeah, and also champagne is like easy, like it can go really easy. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And what's the weirdest thing that you have seen on someone else's rider?
yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, some artists got like a shitload of drinks, like three bottles of Grey Goose, two of champagne. But I think in the uptempo and hardcore scene, it's not that crazy. It's no like not like only blue M&Ms or stuff like that. So it's no real really crazy things. At least I never saw it before. So maybe in more in the hardstyle and EDM scene, it's more used to do crazy stuff in the rider. But I think the most uptempo and hardcore artists are more like normal.
Yeah, more chill. Like I'm not gonna just yeah.
Yeah, indeed.
And I would also like to know, like, in all your life of being an artist, what has been like the craziest weekend? You know, like having a lot of gigs or something that has happened. What has been the craziest thing?
Yeah, sometimes when you have like on Friday, one weekend I had a Friday I had to play in it was Austria. Then I flew back on Saturday morning to play at the festival in Holland. Fly after the festival, I went to Schiphol again to fly back to Austria for another party. And at Sunday, I got two festivals too. So I think that is the most crazy weekend to do like 5 gigs. Four flights, and yeah, that was a really heavy weekend. But yeah, the uptempo is that big in Holland, so sometimes I do like 3 or 4 uptempo parties in the Netherlands, but that's pretty good. Like it's a small country, so you play 1 hour, then you drive 1 hour, and especially when after the Corona the day party started. So sometimes you're playing from 1 till 2 in the midday, and you're closing at night from 5 till 6 in another place. So it's sometimes that hard, but yeah, it's like the most time I've got a driver, so can sit back and relax doing the driving.
Yeah, yeah, because like, how long can you take from I don't know the furthest part from the Netherlands to another part of the Netherlands?
Probably 2.5, 3 hours if you can drive at night. So it's really small, yeah. Especially
Yeah,
when
I
you
mean,
compare it with Spain, yeah.
yeah, and I'm from Mexico, and Mexico is huge, so. But yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, and sometimes when I play also last weekend I had to fly to Paris and then like 3.5 hour drive. Yeah, and that's only for the party, you know. So it's yeah. When I do it in Holland, I'm at really at the north point of Holland. So yeah, that's the lucky thing in Holland. It's really packed, really small, and a lot of parties. Yeah.
A lot of parties. Yeah, that's crazy. And what's the biggest amount of parties you have played at one in one day?
Four probably.
Wow,
Yeah, four
that's
parties in one day. Yeah. It was last year in the beginning of October. I started with a smaller party, a tempo party. Then I did also a small party. Then I had to play at Syndicate, Dortmund, and after that I had to play at Nightmare in Rotterdam. So it was also the first gig was at 12 in the afternoon, and the last one from 6 till 7 or something in Ahoy, Rotterdam at Nightmare. So it was a really long day, but yeah, it was worth it. Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy. But it's like thinking about, I don't know, in the past when DJs used to be like, I don't know, maybe one or two DJs at a club, and they had to play like for the whole night. Maybe it can compare a little bit like that, but you have to travel a lot. So even if it's like a small, like a small amount of time traveling, it's still, I think that it's, I don't know, it's kind of tiring.
Yeah, it's tiring because it's like 1 hour, but you go full throttle. You feel the crowd, and you don't want to yeah. Do you enjoy it all? As that, and you get the energy from the crowd also. But most time it's after it, then you feel you're tired, but then you have to go again. But I think the most important thing is when you feeling the energy from the crowd. It don't mind how tired you are. It's yeah, you will go on the full on the adrenaline. So. I think you get the hangover the next day.
Yeah. What are your favorite countries to play at?
I think the best crowd is for me. It's also in Australia. The crowd is really good, really dedicated, and yeah, there are a few every month a few smaller hardcore parties, but not like in Holland and not every weekend like 5 or 6. And also in the southern of Europe, it's also really crazy. It's always like Italy, Spain. It's really good crowd, always dedicated. Sometimes the club isn't that big or the sound system isn't that good, but the crowd will stay it's the whole night and really enjoying it, and they are really happy that you be there, and yeah, that you're feeling that. Yeah.
How many times have you been to Australia?
uh 4 times. The first time was just before the COVID started, the same month, and yeah, after COVID 3 times.
Okay, and didn't you get locked in Australia? Because I remember that when the COVID came, everyone like they closed the country.
Yeah. When I was for the first time at in Australia, it was in January, and there was the COVID was there already, but in Europe it wasn't. It wasn't. They already were like some measures there, but I was just. I just get away on time before they closed down the country, but yeah, that was really strange.
Yeah. I mean, it would be really, really weird to get locked, like locked up in a country that you're not from. It's like, what the hell am I gonna do here?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, also, is there's gonna be 1 year or something? Yeah, that's crazy.
I was gonna ask you, like, you told me that Australia's crowd is really good. Uh, what parties have you played at there?
Only the smaller parties, not the knockout or the biggest one. I hope to be there next year or the year after. But a high voltage party and a few others. It was like a really intimate party from maximum 1,500 people or something. But yeah, that party is it's strange to fly to the other side of the world for like a smaller gig. But yeah, the crowd is really good. So and most time I stayed like a whole week or something to see something from the country. So yeah,
Wow, but I mean, it's like super expensive. Thinking about the promoters
yeah,
to bring artists for small
yeah.
parties, because just the plane ticket, it's like super expensive, and
It's
everything
really
else.
expensive. Yeah. And the hotel last time we were like with 7 or 6 artists from Holland, so it was really expensive to get in everyone and to buy the hotel for the whole week. And but yeah, I think the ticket price is a little bit higher there because it's not every weekend a party, so they can make it work out. Yeah.
Yeah, they need to raise the price, the ticket price.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they earn a lot of money there, so it's okay.
Yeah, they rich enough. Yeah.
Exactly. And what do you think about the evolution of hardcore on the past few years?
The hardcore or tempo or
Both, like, yeah. First Uptempo. Let's go with Uptempo.
Uptempo. Yeah, I really like it's getting bigger. I'm not really not liking all the new stuff, but yeah, if there's a crowd for it, I think it is good to be there. And in the hardcore part, I'm really, yeah, a little bit sad that the mainstream isn't real mainstream anymore. There are only a few artists like Angerfish, and it's a real big brand, of course, that are in the mainstream, and yeah, I'm sad about that because I started listening with the Millennium Hardcore, so yeah, I really loved it. Also the mainstream and the Millennium, but in general, I think the scene is getting bigger, still bigger, and it's more getting mainstream, and you see some crazy back to backs with other artists, with other scenes. So I think it is going in a good direction. Yeah.
Yeah, I have also seen that a lot of artists are doing now millennium sets. Since you know, like you started to see everywhere like up-tempo sets. So now instead of the DJs going like hardcore DJs going up-tempo, it's like backwards. Like now I'm gonna have some millennium sets.
Yeah, and the millennium scene is pretty big at the moment. There are a lot of parties in Holland and also in Spain and stuff like that are really liking the millennium, and I think there's more audience for millennium hardcore than for mainstream new mainstream hardcore.
Yes.
So yeah, I sometimes go to like for Resonate or something, and I'm really liking the millennium. So and you see also with the hardstyle, like the classic hardstyle parties are almost every weekend here. So I think it's more like the older generation who's not really into the new style, not really into the uptempo, and sometimes they want to a party every month or every 2 months, and yeah, they have more feeling with the older stuff, and I can understand.
Yeah, I was actually going to tell you about the hardstyle classics party because I have seen that there are like a lot in the Netherlands.
Yeah,
and it's getting like bigger and bigger and bigger. And I'm really impressed because here in Spain you don't get this. I mean, at least not classics. You see like I don't know, maybe like at Fabric you see one or two sets. They bring like some class. I don't know. Last time it was actually bass modulators. I think when you were here, if I'm if I'm not wrong, and he was playing a classic set. So yeah, they tend to do this, but it's you know they don't have like a classics party or a millennium party. Well, millennium probably yes, but not just like classics.
Yeah, they like Millennium also, right? In Spain, like Millennium Hard, like Evil Activities and Neophyte,
Yes.
and they do a lot of classic sets there. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Also, I would like to I would like you to tell me about what advice would you give to new artists that want to get into the scene.
I think you have to create your own sounds and not really following the hype. And of course, when you are new in the scene, you get inspired by someone else. So it's always good to have like an inspiration point. But I think the best way is to do it by yourself, to find your own sound, and to try new ways, new things. Also with the DJ sets or with the live acts, or with your own tracks. So that's the best advice I can give. I think, yeah.
And what do you enjoy more, producing or playing?
I'm more DJing, so I love playing more. Yeah. That's what I really missed during the COVID period. It was so sad, and I did a lot of home parties when it was possible. Like people invited me to their home, and it was a small, intimate party. But yeah, I'm 100% DJ, so I love the DJing a lot more. Yeah.
And who was your inspiration? But I mean, just on the DJ side. And who's your favorite DJ? Just thinking about DJing.
Yeah, my inspiration point on that way, it was also Party Racer, and I think it's still Party Racer. Yeah, his mixing skills are out of the world, and he always finds the new tunes, the transitions, the track selections, the crowd reading. Yeah, I think it's one of the best in this in that kind. Yeah.
Okay, next time he's here, I need to go and see him because
Yeah.
I have probably seen him sometimes, but like not completely thinking about it or how is he playing.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, you have to
okay.
check him, of course. Yeah, it's the set's always crazy, and he was also at Fabric last time, but we played at the same time. Yeah,
At the same time, yeah, I know.
yeah. Also, so I couldn't check him too. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, that was a good night, by the way.
yeah. It was a really good night. Yeah.
Yeah, and did you stay there? Like, I mean, no, did you arrive early? You stayed there at Fabric like for a long time, or it was like just playing there and then leaving?
I arrived around 3 o'clock. 3 something. I had another gig the day before in Holland, and it was a short night. So when I arrived in the end of the midday in Madrid, we went out for dinner with a few artists. Then I went to bed around 10 and woke up around 1 o'clock something to get some sleep. Because on Sunday we had to fly back pretty early, so a few hours of sleep was necessary. But yeah, I enjoyed watch a few sets and be in backstage and be in the crowd. So yeah, a few hours of partying. Unfortunately, not for the whole night, but most time when I'm closing on that time, I try to sleep before the set. A few hours, yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I think it's hard, right? Like, mm, how do you handle that? Like playing at that time during the nights and during the weekdays. Do you have like, I don't know, like a good schedule? You go to sleep early, or do you go to sleep always late? Like, how do you handle that? Because I mean, it has to be like, I don't know, like this. It destroys a routine.
Yeah, it really destroys your routine. It feels like you're jet lagged almost every weekend, especially during the winter period, because you have a lot of bookings outside of Holland, and always most times it's a night party. Also in Holland with the day, and I've got 2 young kids, so during the week I'm awake around 5 6 in the morning. So and in the weekends I'm still playing at that time. So I mostly try to sleep before to stay in that rhythm, like to go to bed around 9 or 10. That's what I do during the weeks also. And yeah, then I have to wake up for a few hours. And I did it before we got kids. I didn't do it that way. Most time I try to wake up later in the morning, but yeah, that's with the kids is not possible. So yeah, the last few years I do it this way, and it's yeah, it's pretty good like this. It's every hours of sleep is it's really important to get your sleep. And yeah, also with the tight schedules during the weekend. So that's the way how it works for me. And sometimes, yeah, you're a little bit tired on Monday or Tuesday, and then I went to go to bed at the same time as the kids, like at 7:30 or something, and then you can sleep till 6, and then you're okay again. So
Wow. Yeah, it sounds different. Like, I don't know, very tiring, but completely worth it.
yeah, it's really worth it, and it will be getting better when they get older. It's more easy. Now it's also more easy than the first few years. And yeah, the most of the artists I know without kids are also like always in a rhythm from the weekends. They go to sleep during the week at 2 o'clock at night, and they woke up at 10 or 11. But I've got the opposite. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You have to be like really, really early. Like, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, and most times I also had to close the party. So like when you have a night party and you're like mainstream or hardstyle or yeah, then you play around 1 or 2, maybe 3. But for me, it's most times it's 5 or 6 or sometimes 7 in the morning. So yeah, that's sometimes pretty hard. But then it feels like my normal rhythm, and I play at 7 in the morning. It's the same rhythm I've got in Holland with the kids. So I
But
feel
what do you think
good.
about that? Like that every uptempo artist always had, I don't know, parties that had like a broader type of genres. Like uptempo is always at the end. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's the most fast and hard music on most parties. So yeah, I understand. Sometimes when it's a full tempo party, then it's better to be earlier on the night. Also for the crowd, I remember that the last tempo parties in Holland, when it's a fully up tempo, the people are more tired at the end of the night, because yeah, they're already on the 210, 220 BPM the whole night. So then I prefer to do earlier time slot. But most of the times when you play at a hardstyle party or a mainstream party, then yeah, then you have to close. That's yeah, normally like a Fabric I played after Killshot. Yeah, if you change it, it's don't work out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. And by the way, in the Netherlands, does the people stay like like most of the crowd at the end? Because here, for example, in Spain, like it's almost the same amount of people by the, I don't know, half of the party, because at the beginning there are not that many, and then at the end, like they always love to stay at the end.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's the same there.
yeah, I think it's more like in the outside of Holland. In Holland, maybe they will stay there, but they aren't full of energy anymore. So yeah, in Holland, I prefer to not to not close down the body. Sometimes you have to because of its hardstyle body, and then you get the energy because you are the only up tempo. But yeah, in Holland, it's the energy keeps getting down earlier, probably.
Okay, okay. Okay, so we're about to finish, but first I would like to ask you two more questions. Oh no, but first I want to know, what did you eat in Madrid? Do you have you been here a couple of times? Like, going to eat or something?
Yeah, I went one time. I just ate at the hotel, so it was like a burger or something. It's like not really. And the last time we went to a Colombian restaurant, and there wasn't a place anymore, so only for 1 hour. So we tried to. We said to the girl, like, put the table full of food, and we will eat it in 1 hour, and then we'll go away again. So, but the food was really good, but it wasn't typical Spanish or something. No, too bad.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Next time that you come, please let me know, and I will tell you about the best restaurants here that are also like pretty good in quality, that are cheap. They have like the best Spanish food. So
Okay, wait, what thing is typical Spanish or from Madrid or?
yeah, I mean there are a lot of things. For example, I love cachopo, which is kind of like a schnitzel, but it has like Iberian ham and also cheese, like a kind of cheese that is from the Basque country. And no, not from the Basque country. People are gonna kill me. It's from Asturias. I'm really sorry about this. I completely fucked up. No, also octopus. Octopus from Galicia. It's really good. Oh my god. No, there are a lot of things. Oh, of course paella. Uh, but there's a lot of really good food. So next time you come, please let me know, and I will tell you where to eat the best food
Yeah.
here in Madrid.
Maybe you can join. Maybe you can join us.
Of course,
And
I will show you. We can have some beers, and we will have a good time.
nice, good. Yeah, we will do that.
Yeah, I will also let you know which are the best beers here in Spain. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a win-win.
Yeah, probably. And then we drink the campaign in fabric. This is also cool.
Yes. Okay, that sounds like a plan.
Yeah, of course.
Perfect. Okay, so now I'm just gonna ask you these two questions. The first one is, where does the name Spitnoise comes from? What's the story behind it?
Yeah, first when I started uploading mixtapes, it was like Stan, and then the mixtape name. So I had to change that when it got more plays, of course. And DJing we called spitting. It was like in our friends group. It was like spinning, spitting. So yeah, that's why spit noise came in. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Well, it makes sense.
And at that point, it wasn't the thought, let's do it like a full-time job or something like that. It was just for fun, and we had to to make a name for it. And then yeah, Spitnoise came, and I'm still really happy with the name, and I can't change it anymore, of course.
No, I think it's cool. I mean, if you know, like, at least the speed, the spin, I think it's cooler. Even if you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so before I asked my last question, do you have like any big plans for the next year? Are you coming to Spain? Do you already know if you have like a gig around here at some time?
I don't know really if I already have something in plan for Spain for this year, but a lot of cool bookings for Holland, of course. A few other cool projects for next year, but I can't really tell about. But
Okay.
we will announce it in the beginning of next year. So spoiler. And yeah, but nothing planned for Spain yet. But I hope I have to come soon to Madrid again, of course. And we're working on a cool Active Rage collab. I'm trying to finish make a playable version for Thunderdome in 2 weeks. So that's the first big project for the coming period, and also yeah, really cool collabs coming in, but nothing to announce yet.
Okay, okay, I understand. Okay, so Stan, I will ask my last question, and it is: how would you like to be remembered on the hard scene?
Ooh, I like to be remembered on the hard scene for the cool sets, the vibes during the set. That's what I most get positive feedback about it. That I play a lot of music from other artists. That I will check new talents and play music of them. So yeah, that's my signature spit noise style. So yeah, would be really cool if they remember that thing and that part about spit noise. Yeah.
Perfect. So Stan, thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. We finally made it. After I don't know how many weeks, but yeah,
Yeah,
it's finally done.
it took some time, but we made it.
Yeah, I really, really thank you for this time. I really enjoyed it, and I hope that people enjoy it too.
Yeah, I'm curious. Yeah.
Yeah, so thank you very much, and thank you everyone for watching this. Please subscribe to my channel and follow me everywhere on every social network.